We all hate when we have unexpected car problems. Well, I am here to tell you about a viable solution. Bay 11 Auto and my man Melvin. You have emission problems? Brakes need changing? Transmission slipping? Is your car just driving sluggish? No problem is too big. I live on the other side of town and I drive over an hour to a guy that I trust. Melvin is honest, dependable, and definitely not in the business to break your pockets. Come see the official mechanic Melvin at Bay 11 Auto. You will be glad you did. You can reach him at 1455 General Arts Road, Conyers, Georgia, or 404-295-5715. That's 404-295-5715.
This is a
Squad.
What's up? What's up?
That ball is belted. Welcome in Carlos Gomez. Hello. Goodbye.
Ay, 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 ay.
Down the middle. Butler makes a move.
Oh man, yeah. We rockin' now for real. Yeah. BH3 Sports. Okay. Sports news, get it first when you're getting off of work. Even when you're at work, acting like you're working hard when you're hardly working. I'm a maverick like Dirk, getting Franklin's like Kirk. Hold up, boy. X-Squad, you don't know them boys? Being talking facts on every topic. Overall, we just talking noise, just being boys. Covering Texas sports in them tall heels. That with the fake pass over to Elliott. Better guard your grills like a car for real. Yeah, Cowboys gonna bring a bowl back, Lord, will it? Yeah, Mavericks gonna bring a ring back with Mark in it. We live sports, we talk sports, we dream sports, we eat sports. The teacher about to teach the course. Welcome to BS3 Sports. Ay, 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 ay. Gross. Oh man, yeah.
Welcome to the weekend wrap-up show, episode 123. Hashtag 4-1 or go Who's. So that's Virginia or Texas Tech. Who do you have in the national championship game coming up tonight? Probably the most unexpected teams to be in this final two. And I'm kind of torn, being here in Texas. I want to go for Tech, but my second pick was Virginia. I think Virginia's got a shot definitely to win it. And I think Texas Tech has got a shot too. I mean, they have played above their potential. They played above it. Whoever thought Texas Tech was this good is probably only Texas Tech fans. But they've played solid basketball. They played good D. They had to beat good teams throughout this whole tournament. So really shout out to Texas Tech, what they've been able to do this year, as well as Virginia, that's a redemption story for them. Losing in the first round to the 16th pick to now turning back around, getting a chance to win the title. Shout out to First in the chat room, my man Sid Galloway. We got Mo Cheese in the building. We got Miss Mocha Bella in the building as well. Thank you. We got Tiffany Sports and Hills. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We got a great show planned for today. Well, we got some NBA news to talk about. We got the playoffs. They'll be starting at the end of the week. And that's when the real basketball begins. We all know that's when the real basketball begins, is when it comes down to the playoffs. We got some Major League Baseball news as well to get to. So, yeah, got a great show. We got a new contest, xsquadaffiliates.com/contest. New listeners. We need new listeners on the network. We need new listeners. So we are doing a contest to help get those new listeners. So reach one for each show, get a new person in the show, a new person in the chat room, so that we can continue to advance X Squad Radio. We continue to build it. We're giving away $100 on a gift card. So make sure to continue to share the show. Somebody may not like this show. They may like Chief Rocket's show more. I mean, that's the greatness of what we have here. So many different options of radio to listen to. So, xsquadaffiliates.com/contest. Shout out to JB Jennings in the building. Thank you for tuning in. All right, so let's go ahead and get into some of the topics here. First one off, I'm going to talk about my man DeMarcus Lawrence getting that contract extension. 5 years, worth $105 million, $65 million guaranteed. Number one, I think he deserved it. He has proven himself. If you can prove yourself on a 1 year deal, when you have nothing to look forward to, when you have nothing beyond this year, if you have a horrible injury and you can never play again, but he has proven himself. I think he deserves it. I want to see what happens this next upcoming year because, in a lot of situations, when guys get money, they tend to get fat and they tend to not play as hard. But I don't think this is going to be the case. I like his ability to get to the quarterback. I like his leadership on that defensive line. And he's been doing this for a minute. So he got the contract he wanted. You're going to be getting about 21.5 per year. And I'm all for the players getting paid. And no player wants a franchise tag 2 years in a row because there's no longevity to that contract. There's no depth to that contract. So if something happens to you, God forbid you have a horrible injury, and you never play again, you don't have any backing. So, like I said, he got the deal that he wanted, that the team came to an agreement with, and I'm 100% on board. Add Robert Quinn on, and this is a nice defensive line. Also, I heard they're looking at Gerald McCoy. You possibly add him on this team, and that'll give you even more of a depth at the defensive line spot. So that's something to look forward to. So if you're just tuning in, first of all, thank you. Join in on the show chat room. New listeners out there, you can get entered in to win a $100 gift card. If you're a new listener, you can enter in to win a $100 gift card. You can sign in, create a profile, like, and also follow on the Spreaker app. It'd be much appreciated. JB says, please take McCoy off our hands. Now, if you're trying to say that because he's bad, then I don't want him. But if you're trying to say that because he's good and you guys just don't want to pay him, then we'll gladly take him. Shout out to Courtney Harden in the building. But this defensive line, I think, should be better than last year, adding Robert Quinn onto it. So I'm looking forward. I'm excited. I didn't want them to wait till the last minute. Last minute deals just seem to eventually not work out. It just for some reason, last minute deals, they work out at that point in time because you made that deal happen. But they just seem to end up souring out. So I'm glad they didn't wait till the last minute. I'm glad they got this deal done. And I cannot wait to see DeMarcus Lawrence in a Cowboys uniform next year. Now, we do have other issues, though. You guys are probably well aware. You're going to have to sign Zeke. You're going to have to sign Dak. You're going to have to sign Jalen Smith. If you're going to do that, Amari Cooper. I mean, so this is really just the beginning of what all is going to be required of this Cowboys organization. They're not in the clear at all, but they are moving in the right direction. And they are getting deals done that need to happen. So more power to them. Like I said, I'm all in on this deal. I'm all in on it. and can't wait to see what it's going to look like. So, also, as you're tuning in, give me your pick for tonight's national championship game, Texas Tech or Virginia. JB says Ben McCoy has had a great career, but he's not going to restructure his contract, and $13 million is a lot for a 31-year-old who's starting to age. Great point. Great point right there. Dallas has coaching issues. Yeah, Courtney, I know. I know. You don't have to tell me. Kellen Moore is this team's offensive coordinator. That alone is a problem. Jason Garrett going into his 18th year have not won beyond 2 playoff games. That's not enough. So there's more issues. But as far as what's on the field, I think there's something to be excited about. I think there's definitely something to be excited about based on who's on the field. But there's still more people you got to sign. So Texas Tech or Virginia, who do you have for tonight's game? 2 probably, I would say, unexpected teams. Texas Tech really unexpected. Virginia was a first seed, so not that much of a surprise there. Let's get into NBA from the weekend. The Warriors clinched the top seed. Is anyone surprised? Is anyone surprised that they clinched the top seed? I know I'm not. They've done enough all year to put themselves in this position. And at this point, if they don't win this championship, I would be shocked. I think Philly should be the other team in it, but you just never know how it's going to work out. Courtney says Texas Tech over VA tonight. That defense is legit. I agree with you 100%. One thing that we have to think about, though, which I'll dive a little bit deeper into the game later on the show, but one thing we got to think about is one of their star players, Tariq Owens, is in a walking boot. He is expected to play. He had 3 blocks the last game. He's a defensive presence. If you don't have him at 100%, how does this factor in to their play tonight? Defense is a major part of what they do. So that is something that you got to think about. Defense being a major part, you don't have your defensive presence at 100%. What does that equal to? So that's something that you definitely got to consider. But back to the NBA, Warriors clinch the first seed. Also, the Warriors played their last regular season game at the Oracle. I grew up in the Bay Area. I grew up in Emeryville, a small city between Berkeley and Oakland. And I remember going to Warriors games and them not doing anything. I'm talking about losing horribly. I do remember the Sprewell days. That gave a little bit of excitement. But the majority of the time, you had horrible teams. And then, all of a sudden, I think it all kind of started off with Steph Curry. Then from there, you had Klay Thompson. Then from there, you had Draymond. Then from there, you had Bogut. You get Mark Jackson in there. And the rest was history. Now they are this team that we know of right now. But for a long time, the Warriors were not legit. And if you didn't grow up in the Bay Area, you really can't talk about this because they sucked for a very long time. And now they're on top. They're on the top of the world. I think they deserve it. They're now going to be moving to San Francisco going into next year. But they've been in Oakland, I believe, for 47 years. So this is major at this point with them leaving. Shout out to Jay Fish in the building. Said Arizona cleaning up the house. You a stand-up guy, Jay Fish, cleaning up the house. We need more guys cleaning up the house.